What's going on YouTube? This is Bangalore Productions, and in today's video we're going to be going over tactical layering, what it is and how it can be used to your advantage as a prepared civilian. Without further ado, let's get into it. So tactical layering, right? Whenever many people hear layering, the first thing they think of is winter warfare. You know, going out into the cold, I'm layering up and down with my clothes. When I say tactical layering, it's a little bit different. What I mean by that is scaling your kit to your environment, but all of that kit works together in conjunction for a common goal, common purpose. I've made some videos about this in the past, but what I mean by tactical layering is having a slick plate carrier, a chest rig, and or a belt or fanny pack or something. So multiple pieces of kit, all when they're used together is your complete rig, but they can be used separately for different purposes or all be used together for one purpose. So I think what works best with a slick carrier is either going to be a belt rig or a split chest rig. While Rhodesian chest rigs have their use case, I think they struggle with being used over armor, and that is because of heat mitigation and stacking. When you have armor on and you try to throw a Rhodesian chest rig on over it, you're just stacking the load further out in front of you and you're trapping more body heat on you as well. But with a split rig, I can just open it up. Now I really don't feel much of the weight at all, and I'm still venting and I'm still comfortable. I think that if you are going to choose a split rig over a belt kit, it has its merits as well. A split rig being that it's usually smaller and more compact than a belt kit, and it doesn't extend past your backside, so it makes it easier to ride in a vehicle or to wear a larger pack. And I think that with these kind of kits, a fanny pack is almost necessary for carrying medical gear, extra tools and equipment, so on and so forth. So a quick overview of the kit I'm utilizing. So the plate carrier is the T-Rex Arms AC0. I've had it before the fallout, so whatever, I've talked about it in a previous video. I'm not going to go into my opinions on that, but I just want to say that I do like this plate carrier. It's very comfortable and it's extremely slick. It's probably the slickest plate carrier I've ever owned, and so it fits this role perfectly. You could say it's the poor man's LV InBev per se. But anyway, then for the split rig, I have the Spiritus Systems 34 Alpha. This is a rig that I've been working on for a little bit, kind of deciding if I did want to run a split rig. But when it comes to the way I run my kit, usually being chest rigs most of the time and plate carriers aren't usually normally used for me, I think a split rig is the best, because when I do decide to wear a plate carrier, that's when I wear my split rig and I just throw it on over the plate carrier. But when I'm wearing no plate carrier, I would just wear my traditional, like, normal chest rig. But anyway, the reason I like this kit for what I've been talking about is the fact that I can take off my rig, lightened it by 15 pounds, and I have radio and medical still on body, ready to go. If I had everything clipped up to a plate carrier, I would still be carrying that 15 pounds of extra equipment on top of the armor and everything else, my gun, my pack. But if I'm operating in sort of a defensive posture, I don't necessarily need my rig on at all times. I can just leave it next to me, leave it in my vehicle, whatever that may be, and just rock my plate carrier and my fanny pack and just throw a spare mag in my back pocket. To me, that is a very cool way to run your stuff. It's very basic way to run your stuff as well. You're not having anything fancy, all these doodads and gadgets of plate carriers and battle belts and all this stuff. It's all kind of just your fighting load is centralized to your chest rig, and then everything else, your medical and communications, are centralized to your life-saving body armor. So with that being said, how I run this and how I think the best way for this to be run is kind of like this, right? So we have our slick plate carrier, and all you really need on it is just a way to carry your communications. So your radio. I run a Baofeng, so it's very easy. Just throw a radio wing and it sits right there out of the way. And because of the way the pouch is set up and the cummerbund is, It holds it nice and tight. It doesn't get in the way of my chest rig at all, as you can see. Then, just because it has these little strips right here of little mollies, I just tucked my shears in there. But if you don't have that, that's fine. I wouldn't go out and buy a pouch dedicated to that. That can live in your fanny pack or on your kit. It doesn't really matter. And then the fanny pack. I think fanny packs are the bomb for carrying medical, and that's because if I don't even have a plate carrier on, I have nothing, I can still just carry the fanny pack. It's not connected to anything, and I have medical all right here, centralized, where I can grab it. And it's also a fanny pack, so I can move it around to the back if I'm in the prone, or in the front if I need it or I'm in a vehicle. And then, so that's what I would say for your armor. Just keep it very simple. Keep your fanny pack very simple, just medical, maybe some basic tools like a multi-tool or some kind of knife, and just keep that right there. Your armor, also very slick. And then your chest rig, that is your fighting load. So on my chest rig, how I have it set up right now is I have 2 spud pouches, each carrying 2 rifle magazines. Over on to the left side, I have a mutant pouch carrying 4 more magazines. And then in the very front, in the little built-in radio pouch, I just have my little mesh-tastic LoRa device right there, so I can connect that up to my phone and still be in communications with my friends if my radio fails or what have you. Then moving on to the right side, I have the Spiritus Tall GP. Inside, just have a 1 liter Nalgene, the canteen variant, and my compass. So it's all just right there, centralized. I am going to get in the future the little Can of Provisions water decon kit and just store that in the front right here on the front compartment. So I always have some water purification on my body and not just in my pack. So yeah, that is my setup. I think it is very, I wouldn't say minimalist necessarily because it is a big loadout, but it definitely is very low profile when you compare it to other kit setups such as a belt rig or a fully loaded plate carrier with a back panel and all the doodads and gadgets on it. And I think because it has the scalability and the adaptability to just be undone, placed next to me in my fighting hole or in the passenger seat of my vehicle, and I still have my body armor and medical on my body. So that brings me into my next point of who is this good for? And I say anybody that wants to deem themselves a prepared citizen. Anybody that wants to protect their family and wants to do good if something ever were to happen. I think this kit is best for those individuals, and the reason being that they can all be used independently or all used together. An example, if a natural disaster occurs, something, catastrophic happens, I'm not going to need necessarily a rifle and my chest rig or body armor, but I might need my IFAK to help stop the bleed on my family or possibly neighbors. And just being able to grab this by itself and not have to grab a full chest rig or plate carrier to go out and save people, that's really important to me. Just being able to grab this and go, very important. In a home defense scenario where I might have time, I can throw this plate carrier on real quick. I won't need a radio, obviously, but it's already on there anyway. But I'm probably not going to need to throw on a full chest rig to stop a burglar from trying to break into my house, right? But just throwing this on gives me a little bit of reassurance that if I do happen to get shot in my vitals, I won't necessarily die. Not saying that in every home defense scenario you're going to have time to throw on armor, but you might. And in that possibility, I would rather have it than wish I had it. And then the chest rig. It can be worn independently as well. If I'm just going out to go shoot, have fun with my buddies, I don't need a plate carrier, I can just throw that on. Carries everything I need for an entire day of shooting on the range. And then on top of that, in a shit hits the fan scenario, whatever have you, if I'm going out conducting patrols or whatever on the property, and I don't necessarily need armor, I'm not expecting contact, I'm just making sure that my property is good, I can just throw on the chest rig and the fanny pack and ditch the plate carrier and get going. And that is why I believe in this system. I know a lot of people say, well, you don't need any of that. Just throw a placard on your plate carrier and you're good. And yeah, that makes sense. If you were going to be wearing a Rhodesian style chest rig over your plate carrier, I would say, yeah, just put a placard on, because really throwing this on over a slick carrier is gonna be the exact same thing as if you had a placard and some pouches on your cummerbund. But that's why I choose to run this with a split rig, because it is a lot more comfortable and a lot more, I would say, physiologically efficient in terms of how your body operates. But anyway, guys, that is today's video. I wanted to go over just a loadout that I think is really applicable to all prepared citizens, and something that I would say to look into maybe for yourself. But anyway, guys, this is Bangor Productions signing off.